Welcome to Blessed Dem Boys, a podcast that has the horse right here. We're one Saints fan and one Cowboys fan, one fan of Who Dat and one fan of Dat Win. We're here to give weekly takes, game recaps, bad betting picks, and maybe some good betting picks, game previews, and some Seinfeld references.
This week, we would like to honor the retirement of longtime San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich by showcasing two former Air Force alums, just like Popovich is an Air Force alum, of both the Saints and Cowboys. So with that in mind, our patron saint is defensive end Jordan Jackson, who was drafted by the Saints in the 6th round of the 2022 draft. He was waived on August 30th of 2022 and signed to the practice squad the following day. On January 10th of 2023, Jackson signed a futures contract with the Broncos, was waived in August of that year, and signed to the practice squad the next day. On January 8th of 2024, he signed a reserved/future contract. And in that 2024 season with the Broncos, he did record 1 sack in 17 games. And on March 4th of this year, 2025, the Broncos assigned him an exclusive rights free agent tender, which keeps him under contract for the 2025 season.
Our patron Cowboy this week is Chad Hennings. Hennings was drafted in the 11th round of the 1988 NFL draft, so back when they still had more than 7 rounds that we have today out of the Air Force Academy. He fell this far due to the fact that he was originally obligated to serve 8 years in the armed forces. However, due to budget cuts following the Gulf War, Hennings had his remaining commitment waived, although he continued to serve in the reserves for 9 years. There were rumors when he came back that the Cowboys would trade Chad Hennings to the Broncos, but these were canceled when Jimmy Johnson saw his workout. So Hennings joined the team in 1992 and was a key part of the defensive line rotation for the 3 Super Bowl teams. He played 9 years in the league, all with the Cowboys, and would retire following the 2000 season with 72 starts in 119 games, 27.5 sacks, 6 fumble recoveries, and 1 defensive touchdown.
I'm Paul, the Saints fan.
I'm Brandon, the Cowboys fan.
And we're your host, Izzy. Let's tell them what time it is.
Yeah, that's it. It's go time. Let's see you lift that.
Mr. Mandelbaum, please.
It's go time.
This one's for you, Pop. It's go time.
It's go time.
You've been married 3 times.
That's it! It's go time!
It's go time.
All right. A few housekeeping items before we get into this week's festivities. You can still contact the show via email. We're at blessdemboys@gmail.com. That's BLESSDEMBOYZ. Excuse me. We're still on X/Twitter at bless_dem_boys. You can follow myself. I'm at Paul Elliott, PAULELLIOTT _316. Brandon is at Ball from Grace. We're also on Blue Sky. I do want to mention real quick, Brandon, if I may. I think on the show a couple weeks ago, I mentioned my Letterboxd account. I'm up to 83 followers on Letterboxd.
Nice.
So shout out to those fine folks. I'm at it's Paul Elliott 316 on Letterboxd. I can look it up here in a minute, but so yeah, shout out to everybody who's hopping on the Letterboxd train. I know you're on Letterboxd. You're at
on Letterboxd. Have you followed me back yet?
Yeah, I did. I thought I did.
Okay. If so, then I think I have 1 follower now.
Fox and Fortune, right?
Yes. That also corresponds with the number of movies I've rated on the website.
Yeah,
I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start working on it. I'm going to work on it.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to do the levels. I'm doing the levels. Okay, Paul?
Okay. Yeah, spoiler alert. I didn't get a chance to watch that one film that you rated this week. I'll put it on the list for next week. If you're listening to us, first of all, thank you. You can stream us on Spotify and Apple. We're also now available to listen to on YouTube. We are going to try to do a couple more live shows, I think, this month, hopefully.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
I think we got something planned for the last week of the month, which is something near and dear to me,
Yes.
which I have watched almost. I think I missed a couple of years, once because I missed it on the schedule and once because I didn't have the channel it was on. But something near and dear to my heart that I've been watching ever since my freshman year of high school.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to this because, I think
Have you ever? We'll go ahead and put it out there. It's the Spelling Bee Finals. Have you ever watched the Spelling Bee Finals, Paul?
I'm sure I have. Not religiously, obviously. I remember there was one year where like there was every once in a while there's a year where like there's something really out there, like a kid
fainted one year. That was a big one.
Yeah, maybe that was one. Maybe there was one year where like two just kept going back and forth,
mm-hmm.
and so like you kind of. I feel like in this,
it used to be on ESPN too. So
right.
like,
well, and I feel like in the social media age now, if something like that happens, people are tweeting about it, putting it on social media. And it's like, hey, get to ABC. You know, this kid's on a hot streak or whatever. Like, can you? I hate that. Can you gamble on the spelling bee? Like, is there like a?
I have not found line. I want to say that I tried to find lines for it one year and like couldn't find anything. I was like, what if I made a model?
Okay. I feel like that's the trap. Like that's how they catch you. Like that's like they put the odds out there, and then
if you're putting a wager on the spelling bee, that's when they show up at your door.
Have you? Yeah. Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie Sea of Love with Al Pacino?
No, but I've heard the song by Phil Phillips.
Right. Well, it's that song features prominently in the movie, but at the beginning of the movie, Pacino plays this cop, and they run this scheme where they send a letter to these criminals that have outstanding warrants saying like, hey, show up here for free Yankees tickets on, whatever. And so all these people show up, and when they show up, they bust them. They arrest them. So like, that's what I feel like the spelling bee odds is in the internet age. It'd be like, if anybody who puts money down, it's like, all right, we got them.
It's really good to know, because I just got a letter for free Yankees tickets. We don't even live in New York.
I thought that was odd. But yeah, that I'm looking forward to it. Let's, and then we might be doing maybe a live reaction next week to the
schedule drops next Wednesday.
Yeah, next week from tomorrow. Yeah, as we're recording this. So yeah, look, if you've been with us along the ride, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell random people on the street. I don't know.
I don't think we got a follow back. I tweeted at Hayden Connor from the account. Don't think we got a follow back from. Yeah, I did. Yes.
See if he'll send you. Now, let me ask you this. Let's get crazy for a second.
Okay.
Let's say he does follow us back, and you two in communication, you figure out the Connor last name thing, and he's like, "Look, I'll send you a Cardinals jersey, and it'll be Connor." Right, because it's what are you doing with that? Are you wearing it? Are you just kind of keeping it?
That's a keep, and maybe frame it kind of situation. Okay. I told you I've got that. I got that Earl Campbell autograph jersey, that Oilers jersey that I've got. So that's another one that I just keep around, even though I'm not necessarily a fan of the team. Which it sounds
the team
like
team doesn't exist anymore. So
that is true. That is true.
All right, let's before we get into football discussions, let's transition here. We at Bless Them Boys we always pride ourselves on being able to discuss other things.
But enough about fish. I can discuss other things,
All right, Brandon, you want to kick us off with your?
Yeah, we got some pretty busy week. So Saturday, we'll lead off with that. I started by we watched the Kentucky Derby. I don't know if are you a big horse racing guy, Paul?
I'll watch so my dad was into horses. He was more into quarter horses, but he
Not half horses, not three
not
quarter
half.
horses.
No, not three quarters. But I remember like we got a level of cable at one point where like we had a lot of channels, and one of the channels was a horse racing channel.
Oh yeah, they've still got it.
Right. And my dad would just turn it on like a Saturday afternoon, just on a random. If there's nothing else to watch, he would just turn it on. Because we actually in the where I grew up, there was, I don't know if they're still there, but there was a horse track like 5 minutes from my house, and we would, and I went maybe a couple times with my dad, but so I'll watch the big. To answer your question, I'll watch the big ones like
the
Kentucky Derby,
the
Belmont,
Preakness.
Preakness, yeah. If well, Kentucky Derby for sure. The other two, I'll forget sometimes that they're on. But yeah, Derby for sure. I'll at least turn it on to watch which is what I did this year. I turned it on just to watch Sovereignty.
Yeah, so we grew up and like we would always go, like a lot of times our Father's Day activity was we'll go out to Shreveport, Bossier City, and go to Louisiana Downs and hit the my parents. I think we're past the as Kramer would say, we're past the statute of limitations here.
I think so. Yeah.
But my parents would like basically
it's
like
give statute, you idiot, not statue.
I think you're wrong. so my parents would give me and my sister $20, and then we would say what horse we want to bet on, and then they would take the money and place the bets for us, and if we won, we got to keep the money or whatever. So that's been like a hobby of ours. But I've also got a friend who she does horse training. She trains horses. She trains horses to do barrel racing, and works with like quarter horses as well. She actually let me name one of her horses once. So you know how like horse races, you have to have certain like aspects of like the parent's name in it. So like she gave me the rules and said like it has to be under this many letters and it has to have captain in it. And so I named the horse "Oh Captain, My Captain." So that was a big hit. But so every year before the Derby or before the Triple Crown, especially the Derby, I'll always text her and say, "Hey, what do you think about the field this year?" And so I text her, and she said, "Journalism looks like a man among boys. He's the favorite for good reason, but it's no fun to bet the favorite, in my opinion." And then she said, "I like Sovereignty. I like his trainer a lot. I don't like Sandman. Talented horse, but he runs like a dickhead sometimes." and then she said she also liked Burnham Square too. So he was the long shot I bet on.
Who was it?
Burnham Square.
Burnham Square.
Yeah, so she liked Rodriguez, which was the Baffert horse that she liked in this race, but that one scratched. Okay. And she didn't really care for the other one, who was, because he was in the Derby. You don't really want to bet the horse in the one spot because it's too packed, too crowded, and then you have to ride a certain way to get out. And so she didn't like that one, and so I placed a couple of wagers on Sovereignty and ended up netting about $50 on the Derby. So
it's not bad.
So that was good. Then Saturday night, we were finishing up preparations for my daughter's birthday party, and so I turned the Stars game on. The Stars went down 2-0, and I rage quit and turned it off. And so me and my wife are like finishing up the preparations, and I'll check my phone every few seconds. It's 2-1. Then all of a sudden it's 2-2, and I was like, okay, we're back in this. So the story with this is that the Avalanche had to get rid of. I think they got rid of this one player, and I don't know the whole backstory of it because I'm not as tuned into hockey. But they traded this player, Mikko Rantanen. I think he wanted a bigger contract than what they were willing to give him, so they traded him to Carolina. Plays for Carolina. Carolina also doesn't want to pay him, so he wants out of there. So the Stars trade for him this trade deadline, give him a big contract. Well, the Stars have been without like two of their big stars for this whole series. They've been without Miro Heiskanen and Jason Robertson the whole series with Colorado. Game 7 comes along. Former Avalanche player Mikko Rantanen scores the first 2 goals in the third period to tie it.
Wow.
Assist on the third goal to go up 3-2. And then, in hockey, they'll go empty net. So you get 6 men on the ice. So Rantanen scoops the puck. Someone controls the puck in the Dallas defensive zone, passes an outlet. Rantanen grabs it with a few seconds left and then puts it home for the hat trick. So he scores a hat trick against his former team to send them home in Game 7 after the Stars had been down 2-0 early in the third period. So I watched that.
So real quick on that.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the Rich Eisen shows I do most days, and they were kind of spitballing that if the NBA could adopt a rule of a similar fashion to the empty net rule in the NHL, like some kind of rule where you get a 6th player on the court, but you have to but if the other team scores, it's worth twice as much, or something where in a situation like in hockey where you're down a goal, so you'll take the additional player
offensive
on the ice,
guy.
Offensive guy, right? So I just found that an interesting. That is the one thing about. So I'm not. I don't watch a lot. I watched enough hockey to kind of know, but I'm not totally attuned to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always found that to be one of the interesting rules of hockey. Is
it's also one of the interesting strategy pieces. Is how when do you actually pull the guy? When do you actually start? And then I also watched Game 7 of the Blues Jets. Did you see how this one ended?
I didn't, but it ended poorly for the Blues, right?
It did. So they were up 3-1 with 2 minutes left in the game.
Oh man! Oof.
So they give up the 1 goal, and then Winnipeg scores on this so there's guys basically just trying to put it toward the net. One of the Jets players just does this perfect little deflection to deflect it in behind the goalie. Game goes to overtime. Game goes to double overtime. Jets win. Blues blow a two goal lead. So both teams that lost the Game 7s in the NHL in the first round had 2 goal leads in the third period at some point.
Crazy.
That's
I mean, on the night we're recording this, we just watched the Pacers come back in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Cavaliers were up most of the game. Pacers are at the free throw line, 12 seconds left. It's Halliburton. He looks to miss it on purpose, and he does it pretty perfectly, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Gets his own rebound, retreats back out, almost Reggie Miller style, to the three-point line. They're down 2, puts a little shimmy on whoever's guarding him. 3-pointer with 1 second left, hits it. Pacers steal Game 2. I told you as we were watching it before we turned the mics on, highway robbery, man. And then last night, the 2 games, the Celtics and Knicks.
The Knicks one, I watched the end of that. That one was a good one. As I told you before, I've been following this one guy who's been posting his model numbers for the games, and so I bet. So I had Pacers +9 in this at -110, and then I have Pacers to win the series at plus money, which I suspect will not be plus money anymore after they stole Game 2. So Sunday we had my daughter's birthday party, which was a success. Cooked burgers out at a local park. That was fun. And then been catching up on some albums. I listened to the Samia album, which I told you last week I was going to go back and re-listen. I really enjoyed that. My wife and I got tickets to the show she's going to be in Houston in September. So we got tickets to that. And then The funny thing, I didn't even know this, but she is actually the daughter of uh, one of the witches from uh, oh man, I'm blanking. Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
She's also who is also the voice of Peggy Hill on King of the Hill.
okay. All right.
So I did not know this until this week.
So not Bette Midler.
Not Bette Midler, no, and not Sarah Jessica Parker.
Not Sarah. So the other.
So the other one. There you go. We've narrowed it down. We've narrowed it down. Not those two.
Not Domingo. Not Pavarotti. The other guy.
It's my favorite tenor. It's my favorite Hocus Pocus, which those two other ladies. And then I also listened to Valerie June's new album, Owls, Omens, and Oracles. Really enjoyed that. And then today I finally got my college basketball ratings website up and running.
I saw this.
So I finally got that to post and actually like work like I wanted to. Still got some work to do to automate everything so that it's updating by itself during the season and not having to do it manually. But first step is out of the way. Probably go back and add some historical stuff at some point. But been a pretty busy week. I didn't really watch much outside of sports. But what about you, Paul? What have you got from your Letterboxd?
Well, before I do my before I get to the movies I watched, I'll talk about my shows here. Last of Us still going strong. I was really curious to see. I mentioned this last week. Curious to see how they would follow up episode 2, which was kind of a momentous shift in the show. For those who have been watching along, they know what I'm talking about. I won't spoil it for anybody else. But I feel like the show's moving along. Actually, they only have 3 episodes left, I think, for the season, which is crazy to think about. It feels like they're done. Their last episode is the night before Memorial Day. So after this month, they're done for the season.
That's the last of them.
It's the last of them, yeah. Righteous Gemstones. Speaking of the last of them, this was the Righteous Gemstones series finale this past Sunday. And I thought it was really good. Went out on a good note. Again, baby Billy Freeman is one of the funniest characters in the history of television. Walton Goggins remains undefeated. You had texted me the other day, and you said your question was along the lines of Gemstones or White Lotus. What should I watch first? And basically, the way I phrased it to you is, well, Gemstones, is done. Like if you watch the 4 seasons, that's it. They're not doing anymore. Whereas White Lotus, it's 3 seasons. The episodes are longer on average, and they do have more seasons coming, or they at least have one more season coming, I think. So it just depends on the mood you're in. Honestly, what I would probably suggest is watch the first episode of both and see which one
tickles my fancy.
Tickles your fancy more. Because the other thing about White Lotus is majority of the characters change from season to season. So
right.
The characters you spend your time with in season 1, most of them don't come back in season 2. Same in season 3. So there is some continuity, but not. Yeah.
I've also wanted to. I saw this. There is a show that recently dropped on Apple TV Plus that I got like an advertisement for called Karem. Have you seen the advertisement for this? It looks very let's say Rochelle material.
Oh, nice.
So but it's like set in Napoleonic France era, and so I'm like, so Minsk, yeah, from Paris to I don't know where else you. But anyway, that's also on my list right now.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing it here. I was just looking. Witness the rise of the world's first celebrity. celebrity chef Anton Karim and his descent into espionage in Napoleon-era France, where manipulation is king. There you go.
Shouldn't it be where manipulation is emperor if it's Napoleonic France?
Touche. I like this. With his gifts for gastronomy and seduction, he becomes the perfect weapon in a fight for power.
That's
Now,
like that's like Costanza with the cured meats.
You know what? I bet George would love this show.
George, yeah, George.
It's got everything he loves, yeah.
And he could watch it, and he's watching television at the same time. If I could just incorporate television at the same time,
Yeah, there you go.
You're satisfying 3 of your needs and none of hers.
Speaking of Apple TV, the show on Apple TV I'm watching currently is The Studio, which I continue to watch. Actually, I just noticed the new episode just dropped, so I'm gonna I'll check that out. Very funny show. I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of movies, but you're also like a fan of the movie industry and like how things behind the scenes get done. I would definitely check it out. Seth Rogen, Ike Barinholtz, our Catherine Hahn is in it. Catherine O'Hara from she's in Last of Us, but most people know her from Schitt's Creek or from the mom in Home Alone. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. And much to your delight, I've been catching up on Justified. So I finished season 1, episode 9, appropriately titled Hatless. This is the one where beginning of the episode, Raylan, he gets in a fight, loses his hat, and then the running joke throughout the episode is like, "Hey, don't you wear a hat?" Or,
yeah.
Where's your? But then at the end of the episode, he gets it back.
He gets it back, yes. And not to spoil anything for our listeners who have somehow not seen.
Right. Well, we are at the point of the season. So there's 4 episodes left in season 1. We're at the point where Walton Goggins' character, what's his name?
Boyd
Crowder.
Boyd Crowder.
Boyd Crowder. So Boyd is out of prison, has gotten out of prison, and his dad, Bo, has gotten out of prison. So we'll see what that means for Ava.
Is Boyd preaching? Is he still preaching?
Yeah, I mean he's definitely giving me Goggins. This is definitely a test run for baby Billy Freeman. I could tell. Like, have you gotten to the part where he's preaching and Raylan shows up and says, "Dear Lord," and then he starts like, "If anyone has any tips or information about what Boyd has been doing." I don't think I read that. Okay. I saw the only scene that comes to mind is when it's towards the end of an episode where he's in prison and he starts preaching, and like these other inmates are like giving him the business, and that's when you're introduced to Bo. That's the first time you meet Bo, because Bo comes up from behind one of the other inmates and like grabs him by the throat and says, you're not touching him or whatever. So, but no, so the episode before Hatless is when Boyd got out at the very end of the episode, and then he's not even in the Hatless episode. So we'll see where it goes. I will say that the episode before Hatless is the one too where Raylan has to calm down someone. There's a hostage situation. And he has to calm the guy.
How'd you get the shank in? I keistered it. And then he like talks him down over fried chicken. Yep. What I wanted to mention to you is that criminal is played by a very good character actor named W. Earl Brown, who is a Seinfeld connection, because W. Earl Brown in Seinfeld played a character named Al Nitschke, who, if you remember, there was an episode where the episode begins with George and Jerry on the bus, and George is talking about this girl that he's dating, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he's in love, right?"
Well, no, well, yeah, W. Earl Brown's character is, yes.
Yeah.
George is like, I can't. I got nothing to talk to her. There's nothing to talk about. And Jerry's like, well, why don't you talk to her about
We
this?
talk.
Others?
We talk.
Yeah. And then W. Earl Brown comes up and says, "Hey, Al, how you doing?" He goes, "Deeply in love."
Yeah. Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
And so yeah, but I know him best from Deadwood. He's plays a major character in Deadwood.
That's.
And
I will say.
he's shown up in a bunch of different things.
I will say that's not one of my favorite episodes of.
Justified?
No, of Seinfeld.
Oh, that's the stand-in. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well,
I think it's the
I
George.
like it.
The George story is what I don't like particularly.
No, but so that's the episode that we first meet Mickey
lifting
and right, and then that's also the episode where Elaine utters the phrase "he took
it out."
It out.
Okay. So yeah, I think the George storyline I don't like in that one.
Yeah, no,
everything else is fine.
Because that's the one where he like, he basically is not breaking up with the girl because of Al Nietzsche.
Out of spite.
And he's like, look, I'll get married if I have to. But so Justified, really enjoying it, man. I try to watch at least one episode a day and just, kind of look forward to it every day. So, okay, so let me kind of briefly go through my films. I only got to one Wes Anderson film this week, but it was a rewatch for me. Grand Budapest Hotel, love it. I've got it number 3 in my rankings, right behind Rushmore and Royal Tenenbaums. It's a great film. Ralph Fiennes is hilarious in it. It's set in like post World War II era. I don't remember what country it's in. Well, Budapest, so it must be Hungary, I guess. And Ralph Fiennes plays this concierge of this hotel, and there's this. He comes into some money because one of his regular customers passes away, and the family of that customer is trying to fight him. And Adrian Brody's in it, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum. Trying to think who else.
I bet the restaurant does really well at that hotel because everyone's hungry.
There you go. Yeah. You never miss. I just set it up on the tee and you just knock it out.
We need to. I need to add the another bullseye sound clip to the board.
That guy showed up. I was watching a movie the other day and he showed up, and I thought I texted
you told me about it. I don't remember what the movie was, but you did like. I think you messaged me about it.
I was like, hey, it's the. I can't remember his name, but
no, he's just another bullseye guy to me.
Another bullseye guy.
You're the only white poet warlord in the area.
Watched another Steve Martin film, The Jerk. Have you ever seen The Jerk?
I think I have, but I think it's been like a very, very long. It's been a long time.
It was kind of serendipitous. I like last week or the week before. I was like, oh, because when I watched Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, I was like, oh, I want to watch The Jerk now, but I couldn't find it on any streaming. Well, when the month rolled over to May, it showed up on Netflix. So I was like, so I knocked it out. It's kind of like Blazing Saddles in that you would never get to make this movie.
I love a good movie. That movie that would have been canceled.
I mean, the movie starts with Steve Martin. He's on the street and he's a bum, and he starts to tell his life story, and he says, "I was born a poor black child," and then we're on our way. So it's like, but it's worth your time. It's not, and it doesn't take too long. Mission Impossible, my Mission Impossible rewatch. I watched Ghost Protocol, which is the 4th movie. So I have this theory about Mission Impossible. Have you seen all the Mission Impossibles, by the way?
I think I've seen the first 3, and that's it. I stopped after some point.
So I have this theory. So my theory is that Mission Impossible films, to me, are much like the Star Wars films in that you have a first trilogy, the first 3, then 4, 5, and 6 are kind of their own trilogy. Like, obviously they're connected because it's all the same
Tom Cruise is in it.
Ethan Hunt's the connective tissue. But but like the Star Wars movie, if you try to compare one movie in one trilogy to another movie in another trilogy, it's kind of doesn't work because it's like they're from different.
Because they like added Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, exactly. But in Mission Impossible's case, they added like it got better, right? So because like there's a stunt in Ghost Protocol, like the stunt work in 4, 5, and 6, and also in Dead Reckoning, which is the previous film. They just take it up. They just take it up to a level that the first 3 movies would not dream of. Like there's a stunt in Ghost Protocol where Cruise is literally hanging off the side of a building at one point, like the tallest building in one of the tallest buildings in the world, and it's breathtaking to watch. But
I think that would give me vertigo.
Yeah, all that to say, really good film. Jeremy Renner's in this movie. Apparently, Jeremy Renner was supposed to take over the Mission Impossible franchise at some point, but halfway through filming Ghost Protocol, Tom Cruise was like, "Actually, I'm gonna keep doing them." So, sorry, Jeremy. Well,
Jeremy Renner's the one. Jeremy Renner's the one that like almost died, right?
Right. Yeah. He
with the snowplow.
Last year or 2 years ago. Yeah. He got caught under a snow. I actually saw an interview with him talking about that today, because he was talking about he is Hawkeye in the Marvel universe, and they did a season 1 of Hawkeye, and apparently they were going to do a season 2, and Jeremy Renner spilled the tea that they offered him less money for season 2, and he was like, "Yeah,
no, get out of here."
That's not going to work. Also, over the weekend, I watched 2 David Lynch films. So David Lynch passed away this year, late last year, early this year. And one of these was a rewatch for me, and that's Mulholland Drive. I can't remember the first time I watched it and like where my headspace was, but for some reason, this go around watching it, it clicked a little more for me. Now, I'm not saying I understand the movie completely, because it is out there, as a lot of David Lynch films and TV are, but it's really good. I mean, it's a really good film. Naomi Watts is the lead actor. She's phenomenal. I honestly thought she was nominated for an Oscar for the performance, and I was pretty stunned to find that she was not. So I think Lynch was nominated for director, but it's a really good film. Again, it's kind of out there, but and then another one of his films that's out there is called Lost Highway. This is from 1997. Stars Bill. I always get these guys confused. It's Bill Pullman is in this film. I always get Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton confused.
And Bill Polian.
Bill Polian. Oh yeah. Well, I know who that is. I know him.
Different subject.
Different subject. Bill Pullman, and then also in Lost Highway is Miss Harmony Cobell herself, Patricia Arquette, from Severance. And I mean, this is another movie that was just like, yeah, I don't, because all of Lynch's films are kind of like have kind of dream logic to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of avant-garde and out there, but I just got to say, like, his film, they're out there, but like some of the shots he has in his films are just gorgeous. Like, just very, he shoots well. So
did you ever see the dreamlike thing? Kind of made me think of, and I guess the Tom Cruise thing as well. Did you ever see Vanilla Sky?
Oh yeah. I watched it. Yeah,
that was a good movie. Well, that one was out there too.
Well, that actually segues into one of the other films I watched. So the director of that movie is Cameron Crowe, who also directed Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. But he also directed a film called Almost Famous, which turns 25 this year. It was released in 2000. Watched that for the first time. I had never seen it all the way through. I'd seen bits and pieces, but never seen it all the way through. Very good film. It's like a coming of age story. This 15-year-old kid gets hired by Rolling Stone to tour with this rock band for like a couple weeks and like write about him. Frances McDormand plays his mother, who's like this overbearing, mom who, at the beginning of the film, his sister, played by Zoe Deschanel, runs off because she's had too much. She's had enough of Frances McDormand's iron boot, as it were, and so she runs off, and then McDormand's, just. But again, I've never seen Frances McDormand be in anything bad, and she's wonderful in this. So, also Kate Hudson's in this, and she plays a character named Penny Lane. Just fantastic. So, I definitely recommend checking it out. I watched it on MGM Plus, but it's also on Paramount Plus too, I believe.
I'm trying to think of like what. Like Frances McDormand is very connected with one specific movie.
Fargo
for me. No.
See Fargo, Three Billboards.
Oh no, I know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Macbeth.
Oh yeah,
Speaking
with
of
Denzel.
yeah,
with Denzel. Yeah. I have not seen that one.
Sorry, whenever something
happens,
it like just drives me off on a tangent sometimes.
You're good. A couple other first-time watches for me. West Side Story. This is the 2021 version, the Steven Spielberg version. I obviously am familiar with West Side Story as a musical, but I had never seen the Spielberg version. Thought it was good. The performances were good. The breakout performer for me was Mike Fast, or I'm probably mispronouncing, but it's Faist, Faced, I guess. He's also in the movie Challengers. If you've seen that movie with Zendaya, he's in that. He's in that as well. I just thought he was very good. Another first time watch for me. This is an older movie, Apollo 13.
Great movie.
Great movie. Yeah, I had never seen it all the way through. I'd again seen bits and pieces, but I watched it for the first time. Another first time watch is a movie called Fury. Are you familiar with the movie with Fury?
It not Fury
Brad
Road.
Pitt. No, not Fury. No, not Mad Max. Fury stars Brad Pitt as a commanding officer. It's in World War II, and he has a group of troops that he's leading. John Bernthal, Luis Guzman. No, not Luis Guzman. Sorry. Michael Pena. Sorry, it's Michael Pena, and Shia LaBeouf, and they are part of a tank unit, and they pick up. So at the beginning of the movie, one of their comrades has passed away, and so when they get to the next kind of checkpoint, they are assigned someone to replace that person. Well, the person that's replacing them is this like 18, 19-year-old kid who trained to be a typist, not a gunner in a tank. And so you can about imagine, these four like war-hardened, seen a bunch of stuff, guys, kind of take him under his wing. And it's a very classic war movie. I would definitely recommend it. I wouldn't say it's as good as like Saving Private Ryan, but it's worth your time. And Brad Pitt's very good in it. I rewatched The Other Guys. Have you seen The Other Guys with Will Ferrell?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Hilarious movie. I highly recommend it. Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's a rewatch for me. The first Indiana Jones film.
This was before they drafted Ashton Genty.
Yes. Yeah. This was you could say the Raiders have been on the Lost Ark for quite a while.
Quite a long time.
Hopefully Pete Carroll can turn that around. Another first time watch for me, They Live. This is a John Carpenter movie. It stars the late great former professional wrestler Roddy Piper. And Keith David. Basically, Piper plays this like drifter comes into town. He's looking for work, and he kind of uncovers this conspiracy centered around people not being as they appear. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith David is in this movie. Keith David. If you don't know who Keith David is, if you heard his voice, you'd recognize him. He does a lot of voiceover work. You may know him from Platoon, or one of my wife's favorite Disney movies is The Princess and the Frog, and he plays the Shadow Man.
That's a great
Yeah,
great voice.
Yeah.
I think Princess and the Frog is a little underrated as a Disney movie.
I think so too. My wife and I actually went and saw it in the theaters. We were dating at the time, or no, we might have been married. I don't remember what year it came out, but
2007.
I feel like it was 08 or 09, because my wife and I started dating in 09, so it had to be after that. But yeah, we saw it in the theater. This is way before we had kids, because my wife she knew it was about New Orleans and she just wanted to check it out. So
they also mentioned Shreveport in that movie, which was a big hit for us. Which is where for me it's like, hey, no way, you're from Shreveport.
Yeah,
Raymond.
Oh yeah. All right, 2 more rewatches for me. The Verdict. This is a movie starring Paul Newman, another Paul.
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Newman. He plays a lawyer who has this. He's kind of a down on his luck alcoholic lawyer, and he gets this case thrown to him where he is the prosecuting attorney against one of the Catholic hospitals in Boston. So a woman went in for a procedure and ended up basically a vegetable because they gave her too much anesthetic or the wrong anesthetic. And then the church wants to just settle, and they figure with Newman, because he's kind of down on his luck, that he'll just take the money and settle. And Newman says, nope, he's going to fight the case. He's going to, try to redeem himself, as it were. So it's one of those classic, guy down on his luck finds redemption kind of thing. Excuse me. And then last but not least, Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, the original, not the new one. I haven't seen the new one with Gyllenhaal. I heard it's not terrible, but
yeah, I didn't even realize that they made a remake of it.
Yeah, Amazon Prime made a remake with Jake Gyllenhaal as the Patrick Swayze part, and they brought in Conor McGregor as like the muscle, I guess, that fights Gyllenhaal. I haven't seen it. Apparently, they're making a second one with Gyllenhaal, so I don't know. But the original one with Swayze is like just classic '80s meathead cinema. Like
I was always very partial to like the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Yes, like Bloodsport.
Yes, exactly. I need to go back. I actually I've been meaning to like go back and watch some of those, like the Van Damme ones.
Bloodsport's the one that comes to mind, but I know I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about time travel movies, and they said the movie Time Cop with Van Damme is like the best time travel logic of any movie.
Really?
I forget the setup, but like basically like the way that the movie itself may not be great, but like the way that they define time travel logic is the best that they've seen.
Did you ever see Looper?
Yeah, with
that was
our guy Bruce Willis and
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, him. I almost said Jake Gyllenhaal, but that's not right. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, that's a great one. I need to go back and rewatch that one. That's a great movie. Yeah, no DoorDash incidents this week. Sorry, sad to report. I did want to mention one other thing. So last night, as I mentioned, watching the Clippers-Nuggets game, I dozed off. And my wife, as she usually does, after I fall asleep, she'll change the TV to
Do you do the thing that my dad always did was when you changed it when someone changes the channel, sit up and go, I was watching that.
No. But she'll usually turn on like Amazon Prime and just put a movie on to fall asleep. Usually it's like The Hunger Games or Twisters or something like that. Well, anyway, so I wake up in the middle of the night, go use the restroom. I come back to bed, and the movie that came on after whatever she was watching was Creed, like the first Creed movie, and it was
with
like
arms wide open.
Right. Not that Creed. But it was like, and it just happened to be right at the part right before the fight, the final fight that he has with Pretty Ricky Conlon. Have you seen Creed? Have you seen that?
I don't think I have. I think I confused it with Rocky Balboa,
man.
where Rocky fights Mason the Line Dixon.
Right. Forgot about that. Still not as bad as Rocky 5, though.
Rocky Balboa was. I thought Rocky Balboa was actually okay.
Right. Rocky 5 is an abomination.
Oh, that's an abomination in the eyes of God and man, as I was.
So hang on. So time out real quick. So have you watched all of the Rocky movies?
Yes.
Okay. So if hypothetically, if I asked you to give a Rocky movie ranking, you could do that.
Yes.
Okay. Not saying that's what I'm asking. I mean, we can have
number 4 is number 4.
Okay, so one. So you okay? So from 1 to
5,
6.
1 to 6. Okay, 4.
Okay.
3. 1.
Yep.
2.
Yep.
Balboa 5.
Yeah. So the last 3 I definitely would agree on. The top 3 I would probably shuffle. I really love 3.
3's great.
I probably saw the 4. The one I saw first was 4.
Yes.
Because it was just on TBS like all the time growing up. But 3 was like, just, I thought it was like kind of the perfect movie because it's him, like Rocky gets in over his head. Mickey dies.
That's when he's like like fake training. He's a big superstar and everything. Yeah. And then Clubber Lang beats him. He has to go back to his roots. That is a great one too.
And Apollo has to train him, which that actually ties into the Creed movies because in those movies, Michael B. Jordan plays Apollo's son.
Right.
That Apollo didn't know he had. He finds Rocky and then like he kind of completes the circle where now Rocky's going to train him. And then Creed 2 is basically part 2 to Rocky 4. Gotcha. And I'll just leave it at that. But
4 is probably more of a nostalgia pick for me just because I've seen it so much and just the anti-Soviet, the Apollo Creed, going out there, throwing the damn towel, and then the if he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies.
Throw the damn towel is one of the best gifts.
It's yes, absolutely.
Especially during like any sporting event where it gets out of hand. It's like,
yep, you can just you can throw that for almost anything.
Right. I remember like Alabama playing Notre Dame in the college football championship one year, and it was like, so it's like throw the damn towel.
That one goes really well with the Simpsons one of stop it, he's already dead. That's another those two go like go perfectly well together.
My favorite, going back to that Alabama Notre Dame game, I remember at halftime of that game, Brent Musburger. This was back when Brent Musburger was still calling the games. And I remember at halftime him saying on live television, "Folks, if it was a prize fight, they'd call it off." Like
that game was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was. And that was I want to say that was like a Mac Jones. Was that Mac Jones was the quarterback for?
That's a good question. I know Manti Te'o was on Notre Dame.
Right. Well, okay, so that must have been. Well, it wasn't Bryce Young, man. It might have been Mac.
No, I don't think Bryce Young was there yet.
Anyway, so, but all that to say, getting back to, if you haven't seen Creed, definitely check. So, of the 3 Creed movies, the first one is by far the best, and it still tears me up towards the end. It just does. So, but for my Rockies, yeah, I would agree with your bottom 3. I may flip 3 and 4, and have one still. One is still very good, by the way.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Like those 1, 3, 4 are all like just excellent movies, right?
For me, and just to give you an idea, if you throw the Creed movies into the rankings, I would put the first Creed ahead of Rocky 2.
Okay.
So I'd put it like 4th overall.
Okay.
In that Rocky 2, the problem with Rocky 2 is it's the last 15 minutes of Rocky 2 are fantastic. The fight, like the fight with Apollo, that's great. But the 2 hours before that is like kind of
what
a
are we
slog.
doing? Yeah, what are we doing here?
Kind of
Okay, so AJ McCarron was the Alabama quarterback.
Oh, of course, St. Louis Battlehawk legend, AJ McCarron.
Key players for the Fighting Irish were freshman quarterback Everett Golson.
Jesus. Whew. Yeah, and Manti, that was the Te'o Heisman.
Defensive end Stephon Tuitt. Oh, and tight end Tyler Eifert.
Oh, there's a Bengal legend, Tyler Eifert. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to give an update. Speaking of, it's pretty ugly. At halftime, the Minnesota Timberwolves had a whopping 31 points.
Yeah, I've got it on the TV here. Draymond Green, 16 points at halftime. Steph Curry out for the rest of the game. Looks like he's got a hamstring injury. Anthony Edwards, 1 point at halftime. So,
Paul, you got anything else that you got into this week, or are we ready to move on to the NFL?
No, we can move on. Yeah.
NFL portion of the schedule. We can start with the Saints. I know I didn't have much. I didn't see much related to the Saints. I know you sent me a picture of the new Saints quarterback of the future, Mr. Tyler Shuck himself, was shucking oysters with his first dinner in New Orleans.
So what I will say about Tyler Shuck is he's doing the best he can to make a good impression. So people probably don't remember, outside of like New Orleans fans, people probably don't remember this, but Derek Carr's first meal in New Orleans, he proudly tweeted, was at Chipotle. And it's like that should have been the first sign.
Red flag number 1.
Red flag number 1. Well, Shuck last week or the week before posted his first meal was at Drago's, which is like a oyster house, like a classic. You go to New Orleans, you got to go eat at Drago's type thing.
What's your go? Is Drago's your go-to oyster place in New
I've
Orleans?
actually never been. I've only been to New Orleans like a handful of times in my life. When I go, I definitely have to go to Cafe Du Monde to get beignets.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have like a place though. When my wife and I went before my oldest was born, we kind of had like a one last trip before kids kind of thing.
Baby moon.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. And I actually remember because that was right around the time Drew Brees signed his last like big contract with the Saints. Because I remember we were walking around New Orleans and like people were worried he was going to hold out and all this stuff. And I remember we're walking like in the French Quarter and I get an alert on my phone that said Brees had signed his new deal. Anyway, all that to say, we just usually kind of look around for a good place.
My wife and I asked because my wife and I always really loved Felix's. Like that's our kind of like go to oyster place. It's
Yeah.
like it's smaller and more like I feel like it's more intimate, and they also have really good turtle soup there. I don't know if you're a turtle soup person.
I've had it, but it's been a while. I will say about oysters, I'm not a big raw oysters guy. In fact, I don't know if I've ever even had raw oysters. I definitely have had fried oysters.
I love fried oysters.
I'll take down, yeah, for sure. But I remember my dad describing eating raw, like the feeling of when you eat raw oysters, and like it's like, and it just wasn't appealing to me. So
It's good. So my favorite part of it is like you squeeze some lemon juice on there, and then you also get like a tiny bit of cocktail sauce with like a big helping of horseradish because I really love horseradish, and so like doing that. So that's kind of like how I enjoy the raw ones. Also like a good oysters Rockefeller. It's pretty good too.
okay. So all that to say, yeah. So Shuck trying to make a good impression with the fans. He also posted some Instagram videos of him and a couple of the receivers from the Saints working out. Notably, Bub Means, who was our fifth or sixth round pick out of Pittsburgh last year. Foster Moreau, I want to say, was out there. They were out at Tulane's
Bub
facility.
means business, right?
Bub means business. Yeah, he showed some flashes last year. He just couldn't stay healthy like the rest of the team. I do want to. So, ironically enough, about an hour or so before we turned the mics on, Jane Slater, who works for NFL Network, and is a really good follow. I would highly recommend you follow her work at Slater NFL. That's SLATER on X. So she posted the following. So just bear with me. I'm going to read through this. It says few updates regarding are today on the Saints and the Derek Carr situation, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. So number one, Carr has been to New Orleans twice in recent weeks to meet with the team doctor at the facility. So remember last week we talked about he was supposed to go and then his wife had that medical emergency. So according to Jane, according to her source, he's been twice in the last couple of weeks. He's met with a team doctor.
Has he grabbed a burrito while he's been in town?
I can't speak to. Two, he believes he injured his throwing shoulder in the same game he injured his left wrist, which was the Giants game. We talked about this before. It's the game where he tried to jump over the defender. He landed wrong. I don't know how he injured his right shoulder when he landed on his left side, but so be it. Number three, question: why are we just figuring this stuff out now? He didn't start, that being Carr, meaning he didn't start meaningfully throwing until the spring as he ramped up for the off season, and that's when he noticed it. Prior to that, I'm told he only threw a bit in a walkthrough with a fake football to injured players and Alvin Kamara. I take it she means like at the end of the season. Obviously, he wasn't playing, but he was still with the team.
Just doing walkthrough kind of activities, right?
Doing walkthrough stuff, yeah. He didn't get a chance to come back and really push it because Saints got eliminated, were out of contention, and they sat players. 4, why not just get surgery? Sounds like he would rather not, as he has already had surgery before on that arm, but he's still navigating that decision. 5, the Saints are trying to decide what's best for the team and for Derek Carr. Saints are trying to decide what's best for the team, and Derek is still actively trying to make the best decision for his shoulder. And finally, number 6, a decision either way will be made here sooner rather than later, per the same source. And then she just parenthetically adds, admittedly, I know there are still a lot of questions here and not a lot of people are providing a lot of answers, but that's about as middle of the road as I could get, as there's a lot of information and misinformation floating out there, so we still wait. So basically, it feels like we're at the same point we were. We're kind of waiting to see what the Saints do. Sounds like a decision's coming sooner than later. Everything I'm hearing from national folks is Derek Carr is not going to be with this team. Now, he may be on the team, but he ain't going to be with the team, if that makes sense. So it sounds like he's either heading for IR or they're going to release or something. So
put him on the PUP list, maybe?
Put him on the PUP list, whatever. Now, Mickey Loomis has said that if he's healthy, he would be the quarterback. But who knows? Right now, I think a lot of Saints fans are heading into this offseason, mini camp or OTAs, mini camp, all this stuff with the mindset that it's either going to be Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler week one for the Saints. So, and like I said, Shuck at least looks like he's putting his best foot forward with the community. Oh, well, my Alexa's yelling at me for some reason.
Are you trying to add something to the shopping add Alexa, add quarterback to the shopping list.
Add Arch Manning to the shopping list. So that's that.
Hey, I got to tell you, if the Saints end up with Arch Manning, you're going to be on thin ice, buddy. You're going to be walking on eggshells around the house.
Yeah, that's true. We already got two UT. Oh, man, although maybe. I did see a mock draft. I saw a way too early mock draft for 2026. By the way, shout out to these sickos who first week of May just drop a mock draft for
the draft is over. I got to do my mock for next year.
But they had the Saints picking not a quarterback, but Caleb Downs, the Ohio State defensive back. And I was like, oh, so that means Tyler Shuck works out. Because that's the best case scenario for the Saints. If they do have a top 10 pick, the best case scenario is that Tyler Shuck works out. So you don't have to pick a quarterback. Now, look, if you have the number 1 pick and Arch Manning's coming out, I don't think Tyler Shuck being good's gonna I don't know. I feel like they're still gonna have to have a conversation at that point. Anyway, what about the Cowboys, Brandon? What's going on with them?
The main thing is we've got rookie mini camps going on, so we've gotten to kind of see some of hear a little bit about what's going on there. Looks like Booker's been very vocal, been like a real leader with the other rookies, which is kind of what the word on him was coming into the draft. So that's good to see. I think you're getting what you expect, and they've got a lot of good players along the offensive line, but I think they didn't have someone who was necessarily vocal about being a leader. Like there are guys who lead by example, but Booker can be the kind of guy who's like the voice of that. Sounds like from what my mom sent me an Instagram post as she is wont to do these days, and it said the Overshown and Diggs are actually looking pretty good in their recoveries from ACL injuries. So that's good to see. I don't know if they'll be back for the start of the season, but maybe sooner than later, maybe after maybe 1 month into the season, which would be good because the Cowboys are kind of hurting for linebacker depth, especially. So having Overshown was fantastic last year when he was on the field. Having Diggs back also gives you'd have Diggs, you'd have Bland back. Siobhan Revell also is expected. Maybe he could be ready for the start of the season. I don't think they're going to rush him because he was a third round pick. There's no reason to. But I think having him back, you've also got Izzy Muokwamu, who I think would be a good he's kind of like a good physical presence. So if Diggs isn't ready or if Revell takes a little bit longer, you've got him there. But I think that's another question is what do we expect from Revell? I'm kind of hopeful that he's available sooner rather than later, just because I'm anxious to see him on the field. But like I said, I don't think they're gonna rush him there. So I think we're also seeing a lot of players speak very highly of Brian Schottenheimer, and so they kind of talk about him, and it makes sense when you think about the fact that he coached in Seattle under Pete Carroll, but he's got sort of the same he's high energy and is sort of the guy that kind of inspires the team to be energetic. And players have spoken very positively about being around him. So we're not going to know much about his actual offensive philosophy until we start seeing plays run in the regular season. But the fact that, players speak highly of him, he's a good energy guy. the early returns from that, and also the things he's kind of said in his press conferences about what he wants to do with the offense have been encouraging. So, I mean, this might be a case of bad process, good results for the Cowboys. I'm hopeful,
Yeah.
but that's kind of like the word on the street at the moment.
Okay. Well, I did see Bill O'Brien, who's currently the head coach at Boston College,
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of good things to say about Booker because he was with him at Alabama for a time.
Correct.
And also a lot of good things to say about the second round pick, Ezraku,
Mm-hmm.
the edge rusher. Saw him doing some working out on, I think it was Twitter. You guys might have gotten a steal with Ezraku. Like if he turns out to be, something.
I think he had like 16 and a half sacks.
He had a lot of, he was very productive. And I mean, a lot of people thought he was going to be a first round pick, and you guys got him, 44?
Yep.
Pick 44. So,
oh yeah. So he had in 2024, he had 16 and a half sacks. He had 2 the year before, but then the year before that in 2022, he had 8.5. So he can get to the quarterback despite being on a team that's not like, I mean, Boston College wasn't exactly a defensive powerhouse, you would say.
Yep. Yeah, so you guys may have gotten a diamond, and then Ravel too. If Ravel turns out to be a diamond in the rough as well, so
this reminds the Ravel thing kind of reminds me of the year that the Cowboys drafted CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was supposed to, because the Cowboys picked at 17. Lamb was supposed to go off the board way before that, and I think in the the pre-draft press conference, they said that they kind of they needed defensive help. And so, McCarthy said, yeah, we're kind of locked into defense here. And then he said, I reserve the right to change my mind if CeeDee Lamb falls. And then, lo and behold, draft day comes. And the guy that they were talking about taking in the first round was Trayvon Diggs. And so CeeDee Lamb falls to him at 17. So they're like, okay, can't pass this guy up. Go and get him. Right. He turned out to be great. But then also, Trayvon Diggs is still sitting there when it comes back around to him in the second round. And so Ravel was a guy that people had talked about, he's kind of fits the mold for the Cowboys second round players, which is where they tend to take shots on guys with a little bit of injury questions. And so Siobhan Ravel was like, this kind of guy fits it. He also fits Will McClay's cornerback standards. And so everyone was like, well, Ravel's a possibility in the second round. Well, they took Ezraku because Ezraku fell to him. And then third round, Ravel's still on the board. And so they're like, hey, he's still there. And so they took him. So you got two guys that you think could be high impact players in the second and third round. And I think that's a lot of the reason I think the Cowboys did so well in people's draft grades. It's just those two guys alone are possible first round talents that you got on day two.
So you potentially got 3 first round picks. I mean, because Booker, say what you want about the positional value and all that, people still thought he might be a first round pick. It was just, he's just being a guard. And look, I mean, what I've seen of him, I really think him going on that show with Micah and saying I make it not fun or however.
Yeah, he's like I want people to not enjoy playing football anymore when they go against me.
And one of the guys he went against in college was Jalen Carter when Carter was at Georgia, and obviously now Carter that's going to be an interesting.
He also time did you see? I think what's his name? Will Anderson, who played with him at Alabama, was and this was before he had been drafted. Will Anderson basically came out and said, "Yo, Booker." He's like, that kid's going to be something special. He's like, he's a great kid, great player, great leader, and so actually, turned out.
I'm hoping for you. I may have to live vicariously through you this year because the Saints I don't think are going to be.
Yeah, I sent you that. The Athletic Football Show was the.
Yeah.
He said what are you buying or selling the Saints off season is a question that you ask to drive someone insane or something. So,
no, seriously. Yeah. If you want to drive someone insane, just ask them, if they buy or sell. Uh, yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better, I think, for the Saints. Speaking of getting worse before it gets better,
Good. That's a
let's
transition.
some other NFL news here. UT alum Justin Tucker, he's looking for a job. The Ravens told him to hit the bricks, as it were. Would they draft? Who was the kicker they drafted? Tyler Loop or something like that.
I don't remember his name. I was going to say that I think Justin Tucker must have rubbed in the wrong way. Rubbed in the wrong way.
I did see a video of this kicker. Yeah, Tyler Loop is his name. Somebody took a video of him making like a 70-yarder at Arizona in practice, like just but yeah. So obviously he made Justin Tucker expendable, as did Justin Tucker's
Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker didn't really help his case there on the field or off it. Because I mean, he had been. I mean, the Ravens very clearly tried to paint this as a football only decision, which you could because he was bad. But let's not kid ourselves.
Listen. To be fair, he did have an off year. Like last season,
it was bad.
He started showing signs of decline. My favorite Justin Tucker memory as a Saints fan was Saints are playing in Baltimore. This is during the Breeze years, and Tucker had not missed an extra point all season, and he missed one against the Saints, and it spawned one of the great gifs of the time, where it's like him with like the wide eyes and like the I can't believe I just missed the kick type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints ended up winning that game that they needed to win. It was kind of a late season game, and the Saints needed to get a win. But anyway, so I doubt he's going to get signed by another team. Somebody put out a list of like best kickers of all time, and they had Tucker at the top of the list, which I found sacrilegious. Like Vinatieri.
No, but the thing is like his numbers on like accuracy before like I would say the last 2 seasons, he was the most accurate kicker of all time. So
that's fair. That's fair. I might have been a little bit recency bias there. Let's talk about Tank Dell for the Houston Texans. First of all, did you see this sweet tattoo he got on his leg?
I heard about this. Someone joked Someone joked, did they work in the stitches from his surgery scar into it?
That's what I think it is. I think he just got it to cover the stitches, but it does look like he may not be back for 2025. I mean that injury he got was pretty severe, and then we also kind of talked about this last week, because obviously they drafted the 2 Iowa State receivers, Higgins and Noel, and we thought, well, maybe they did that because they know something about Tank Dell's injury that we don't know. So that might be what happened. Maybe they think he's not going to be back
from the fantasy podcast that I listened to made it sound like it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion, but the team was basically, we're not going to rush him. We want him to take his time.
Right.
Basically, like, yeah, it is a strong possibility that he does not play this season.
Which, you don't want to. Yeah, an injury like that. Again, it was a very gruesome injury. I think was it Nico Collins that ran into him?
Yeah, I think so.
So,
I was going to say on the Justin Tucker thing, I don't know if this isn't a certainty, but I think I may have met him at one point.
Oh,
because I went to like a friend, like I had friends in college, and she
not at a massage parlor, hopefully.
No, if she was not, she's actually she actually sings country music now.
Oh, okay.
But she was dating somebody who I think was either the punter or the kicker. I'm like 90% sure. And I want to say it was like because Tucker was there 2008 and 2009 when I was there. And so I think it was either like I said, it's either the punter or the kicker that she was dating at one point, and so I like went to a friend's party and she was there with him, and I was like, oh, I didn't say anything to like, oh, you're the kicker or whatever, but I remember meeting somebody that was affiliated with the team, but I think it might have been Tucker. Not that I just can't confirm that. I'll have to reach
Brandon.
out. Maybe I should
Brandon,
reach out to her.
I don't want to alarm you, but
Uh-oh.
you might want to go check CeeDee Lamb's latest Twitter or tweet.
Okay.
I don't know what it means, but he's tweeting. CD, that should be like a red alert. CD's tweeting again. Like we got something's up.
Now I need to figure out if he's still following the team on Instagram.
Oh yeah. That's.
Well, I mean, we just signed him to a giant contract. Like we gave him a bunch of money. He will. Hopefully, he's saying goodbye to somebody else.
Maybe he's saying hello to George Pickens.
Or maybe he's saying hello to Micah's new contract.
Ah, there you go. Let's keep it positive here. Let's talk a little bit about this Warren Moon bequeathing. Is that the what's the word there? I bequeath to you. His number one jersey, signing off.
Yes, I don't know how official any of these rankings are.
I don't know how official these rankings are, but he, I guess, bestowed to Cam Ward the Tennessee Titans number one jersey because I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said like my Houston Oilers jersey number one is retired. Nobody will ever wear that again, but Cam Ward can wear the Titans number one jersey.
And he made it sound like the Titans aren't going to use the Oilers jersey moving forward.
So I don't think that's the case. I do think they'll still use the throwbacks.
Right.
But I think what he means in his mind, and again, I don't want to speak for Hall of Fame quarterback here, but I took it as the Houston Oilers, like that history is come and gone, and like my jersey, the number one Houston Oilers jersey will never be worn again. But now we're talking about the Tennessee Titans, and this is kind of a same franchise but a new legacy kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe the team just paid Warren Moon a bunch of money. Like, hey, can you let him have the number one jersey? Like,
it says the Titans will not be wearing the Oilers throwback jerseys in 2025.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I mean, look, I know we've talked about this on the show before, and I get it. I understand why. I get the lineage of the franchise. I get it. But, like, the whole, like, they can wear the Oilers stuff, but the Texans can't. Or, like, even the whole, like, when U of H wants to do, like, the Love You Blue tribute, and they give them crap about that, it's like, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
Well, the Addams family is not exactly the known to be the most generous and giving.
I get it.
It's also like the Texans also need that because their jerseys kind of suck.
True. Yeah,
like they're one step away from being a UFL Arena League sort of combo, especially once they start throwing the red jerseys out there.
Maybe that's a ranking we can do during the offseason. Worst jerseys.
Ooh, I think the Roughnecks actually jerseys are actually like better than they did a better job of it than the Texans did.
Yeah, are they the ones with like the bandit?
No, that's the Dallas Renegades. Don't you?
Oh, that's the Renegades. Right.
No, the Houston. It's got an H, but it makes the oil derrick shape.
Oil derrick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Also, really like the. Do you remember the Houston Gamblers?
Oh yeah, from the USFL.
Yeah,
From the old USFL?
those were
Yeah.
some pretty sweet throwbacks too.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the team Jim Kelly played for.
I think that's right. That sounds right.
Before he became Super Bowl not winning, but Super Bowl quarterback
Appearing in
for the Bills.
Yes, he was a gambler.
He was a gambler,
Mm-hmm.
like Kenny Rogers.
Hey, bad chicken, messed you up.
All right, let's talk. What do you want to do next? You want to do strength of schedule, or you want to do draft class rankings?
Let's close it. Let's go ahead. Let's do the draft class rankings, and we can do that quickly. But basically, I just wanted to touch on it because
this is from NFL. We're looking at NFL.com.
Mm-hmm.
Deputy editor, Gennaro Felice, looks like.
It's either that or Felice. It could be Felice if it's Italian.
So he ranked all 32 draft classes.
Mm-hmm.
I will get this out of the way quickly. He has the Saints at number 30. The only
grade of a C, so not failing. Right in the meaty part of the curve.
Right in that meaty part of the curve. Yes, thank you. The only two teams below the Saints are the Vikings, who had the least number of draft picks, and the Bengals, who I don't know why people hated on the Bengals draft. I thought, of course, I ranted and raved for months of
Saints, you didn't want Shamar Stewart.
Saints better not draft Shamar Stewart. And then,
I don't know how the Bengals draft got graded so low.
But I did say on draft night, I'm pretty sure we can check the tape, but I did say on draft night that I liked Stewart going to the Bengals because
it's not the Saints.
Well, because it's not the Saints, number one, but if they can figure out the Trey Hendrickson situation, then you have like Stewart. Because if he went to the Saints would basically be looking to him as like, hey, buddy, you're going to be we need you to be our pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if he goes to the Bengals and Hendrickson's there, then there's kind of a little bit more of a
complimentary piece there.
Yeah, a complimentary piece. But anyway, so yeah, the Saints were at 30 with a grade of C. Their favorite pick for the Saints was your guy, Kelvin Banks, out of UT. Their sleeper pick was a guy you probably don't care for, which was Stutzman out of OU. The cracker with the juice, as he coined himself. Where'd the Cowboys end up on this ranking?
The Cowboys ended up at number 9, so not too bad.
A minus,
B plus,
B plus. Okay, not too shabby.
Yeah, so he said his favorite pick was Siobhan Revelle, who we talked about.
Okay,
and then his sleeper was my favorite pick of the draft, Jaden Blue.
Oh, your boy Blue, yeah,
my boy Blue. I don't know. Should I get a Blue jersey? He's gonna wear the Herschel Walker number 34.
Oh wow!
I know that's pretty sweet with a blue on the back.
Let me ask you this: does Jaden Blue make Deuce Vaughn expendable?
Oh, I think so because now you've got. And both of these guys are expendable because they didn't pay him much. But you got Javonte Williams, and you've got Miles Sanders already on basically vet minimum deals. You drafted 2 running backs. You brought in you drafted Blue, but you also drafted Phil Moffitt out of Clemson.
Yeah.
And then you've got Deuce. So it's a pretty crowded running back room right now.
Yeah, somebody's got to go. If I could briefly talk about the team that finished right ahead of the Cowboys in these rankings, it was the Las Vegas Raiders, and I just want to mention. So we laughed about this last week, how they drafted 2 quarterbacks with like 2 picks apart. So one of those quarterbacks, quote unquote, is actually listed as a receiver. It's Tommy Malott from Montana State, who they have listed as the sleeper pick here.
He will be doing the Matt Jones transition.
Well, either that. I've also seen him. He might be the Taysom Hill type
Okay.
piece. But what I read today, and I apologize, I don't remember where I read it, but apparently Tom Brady. So as we all know, Tom Brady is a minority owner of the Raiders now.
I think he's white, actually.
Thank you. I meant that in terms of shares that he owns of the team, but well, this has been the last episode of Bust Dem Boys. I'm sure we're going to get the bots are going to get us canceled, Brandon. We got to be careful.
We got to watch out for our Russian delegation.
Yeah. But apparently Brady was not heavily involved in the draft process this go around. However, he was very high and highly recommended Cam Miller, the quarterback out of North Dakota State that the Raiders drafted in the 6th round, which, of course, Brady legendarily was drafted in the 6th round all those years ago. So I just found that interesting that, Brady saw something in this North Dakota State, which North Dakota State quarterbacks don't have a great track record in the NFL.
No, they don't. I've experienced that both from a division rival and also from a
for your own team.
Yeah.
But yeah, the team that ended up number 1, speaking of Tom Brady, on this list was the New England Patriots.
Yep, who I talked about, who I had, I believe, mentioned last week during our show, who I really liked. I really liked their draft.
Yeah, he has their best pick as Kyle Williams, the receiver from Washington State. I think we talked about him a little bit last week. And his sleeper pick for the Patriots is Braden Swinson, who's an outside linebacker from LSU. So outside linebacker, edge rusher, you know how that goes.
There's one
who
more.
Was the team? There was a team you were.
Yeah, so they talked about this because when I talked about I didn't like their draft class last week. I said their entire offseason, we went in saying, you got to fix the offensive line. You got to fix the offensive line.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so he has the Texans at number 15 and as with a grade of a B, but he says, he opens up, I'm nervous about the offensive line overhaul. Ariante Ursary was quietly one of the more polarizing prospects of this draft cycle. And so, this is the guy this is the one offensive lineman that they drafted, and he's not necessarily a guy that people say is a can't miss prospect. So, what are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we missing? Yeah,
missing. Something's missing, all right.
Something's missing, all right.
Yeah,
and they drafted. Didn't they draft? They drafted 2. Did they draft 3 receivers or 2 receivers?
Well, they drafted 2.
The 2 Iowa State guys, yeah. But
yeah, it looks like that's it. But they also drafted a running back out of USC, and they also drafted Graham Mertz out of Florida. Right,
the quarterback, yeah.
What?
Another potential Taysom Hill replica project.
Yeah, but, I guess I don't see the vision on offense here. I know they needed to improve the run defense. I know that was a problem, but what are we doing here, man?
Well, when the Drake's running for his life this season, CJ Stroud. Sorry, not the Drake.
Yeah.
I had Patriots on the brain. Sorry, when CJ's running for his life,
I get to
Graham Mertz has to play because CJ's injured.
Graham, guess what? Take off the tight end jersey. You're quarterback now.
I don't even know who their backup is.
It's not a.
Wasn't Kyle Allen? No, Kyle Allen's with.
What happened to the guy that Davis Mills? Is Davis Mills still there?
Oh, the neck. Yeah, the long neck guy. Yeah.
Not Mike Glennon. The other neck.
He's probably still there. Let me just do a quick search here. No, it says Davis Mills. At least according to see. HoustonTexans.com should have the answer, I would think. Roster. Position. Quarterback. So on their roster currently, they have C.J. Stroud, Davis Mills, Keaton Slovis from BYU, was a rookie last year, and then now Graham Mertz.
I think that was a character in one of the Rocky 4.
I believe so.
I am Keaton Slovis. I am trainer for Russia.
Yeah,
for Ivan
he was Drago's. Drago. Yeah, he was Drago's trainer. Yeah, you never miss. I tell you. Oh, and the Texans also have C.J. Gardner Johnson this year at
2 CJs.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I wanted to quickly talk about strength of schedule. So we mentioned the schedule release is next week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But Warren Sharp, who is a very good follow on Twitter and on all social media, but he does a lot of analytics work. He came up with, excuse me, which NFL team has the easiest schedule using projected win totals from the Vegas odds makers. So, Brandon, would you like to take a guess who Warren Sharp deems has the easiest schedule in 2025?
Well, I'm going to guess as I pulled up the website before when you sent the link. I'm going to take a guess and say it's the San Francisco 49ers.
You're very good, Brandon. Very good. Yeah. So the top 5 easiest schedules. So 49ers are 1 with the easiest. Patriots are 2, which again, that makes me think the Patriots might be a playoff team because they've been improved. They have an easy schedule. So
I think it's time to put down some futures bets, Paul.
Well, but we talked about this last week. Like it's going to get to a point where, like, if the Patriots don't make the playoffs, it's almost going to be a disappointment now, like because of all these things in their favor. Third easiest schedule, according to Warren Sharp, is the Saints. I don't think it'll matter, but okay, that's great.
I was going to say you've been touting the under for the whole off season. Let's
we'll talk about it more next week when the schedule gets released, but I just don't see it. Number 4 is the Falcons, and number 5 is the Bills, which I find interesting because which makes sense. If the Patriots have an easy schedule, the Bills would, but the Bills have a first place schedule because they'll have to play the Chiefs, they'll have to play Baltimore, they'll have to play the Texans.
Yeah, but that's 3 games, and then you've also got whatever division they're playing against is going to be.
I have to check to see. So I know that the AFC East plays the NFC South, so that helps the AFC East.
That's why the AFC East and NFC South are over here in this.
Correct. I don't know what AFC division the East is playing. I want to say it's. Well, actually, we may answer this question here in a minute. So I want to say it might be the AFC South, which if that's the case, again, that helps.
My favorite part of this is that the Giants, because they're in the NFC East with like 3 pretty decent teams, and the fact that the NFC East schedule this year is brutal. Like the Giants are like they're way over there on the down and to the right,
and they have a last place schedule, right? Because
yes.
they finished last. So even with that, they still have the hardest schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're the worst team in a good division, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a hard schedule, or the schedule's going to look hard going in. But we always do this, and then eventually we find out some teams that we thought were going to be good aren't, and some teams that we didn't think were going to be good are actually.
The NFC East plays the AFC West, which does not help.
Nope. And we also play the NFC North.
And the NFC North. That's the 2 best divisions in football.
Yep.
But by most standards, right? Also with the hardest schedules, we've got the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, which we just talked about the NFC North being the toughest division. The Eagles are number 4. Vikings are number 5. Where are the Cowboys? Right in the meaty part of the curve?
22.
So
we actually have the second easiest schedule in the division. So that's
So the over unders here. We talked about the Saints a little bit. The Vegas number is 6.5.
Whoa, that's actually a little higher than I expected it to be.
That's an under, buddy.
Yeah,
that's an under.
Well, especially given the quarterback situation right now.
Correct. The Giants, who have the hardest schedule, they're at 5.5, and so are the Browns, who have the second hardest schedule. Lions are at 10.5. What's the biggest number here? Eagles are 11.5. Chiefs are 11.5. The Ravens are 11.5. What's the Bills? Bills have got to be, I was going to say, if the Bills have the fifth easiest schedule, they got to be at least 11.5, coming off a 12-win season or whatever they had last year. We'll get into win totals more maybe next week, but I just want to talk about strength of schedule. I wonder how much of this will change potentially next week once the actual schedule comes out. We actually see, okay, what order are you playing the teams? I don't know how much that matters, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess some of it, like if you've got some like shorter weeks, like where does your Thursday game fall? Like kind of that would probably.
And we're going to talk about these international games here in a minute, but like those teams that have to travel abroad, like how does that work with the bye week? How does all that play out? So, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. Anything else news related we want to talk about before we move on here?
No, I think we've hit the high points. I think it's time to pull up a grid.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. Let's pull up today's You want to do today's?
Yeah, that's usually the easiest.
Okay. So we're going to be playing Immaculate Grid number 657, which is today's grid. Here's our categories. We have 3 teams on the rows: the Tennessee Titans / Houston Oilers, the Cleveland Browns, the New York Football Giants. So the 2 teams with the hardest schedules in football, Cleveland and New York. And then on the columns, we have the Los Angeles, not San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Rams, and then the category of only one team. So those are our teams and categories for today.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, we're going to flip a coin to figure out who goes first.
Yep, call it in the air, Paul.
Let's go tails.
It is tails.
All right. So I will receive here, as it were. I will elect to receive.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, I probably should have deferred. Now that I think about it, but
where are you on first?
I think I'm going to go to that only one team column, but I'm trying to figure out which team I want to use. Yeah, that doesn't work. I had a name in mind, but it didn't work. No, that's not. Come on. I'm going to go Cleveland.
Okay.
Only one team.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with, give me a second. I got to find the name here. I got to. Okay. I'll go with this guy, DeJuan Jones. DeJuan Jones. Oh. Spell check is failing me again. Okay. DeJuan Jones, who is an offensive lineman from the Ohio State University that they drafted 2023, gets me 0.4%.
Okay. I'm going to go with the defensive back here.
Okay.
I'm going to go Grant Delpit.
Ooh, LSU.
0.7%.
LSU, right?
Yep.
Yeah, LSU. Okay. All right. So that's one for our side.
All right. I'm going to. Let me see. I think I'm going to go to Rams Titans.
All right.
Oh no, who am I thinking of? Okay, I take that back. I'm gonna go Rams Browns.
All right.
We're gonna go with Kenny Britt.
Ooh, that's a name from the past.
0.9%.
All right, Rams Browns. I'm going to go with a former patron saint, Ray Armstrong. 0.1%.
I never remember Ray. He's one of those guys that I always like.
Ray's a cheat code. He's kind of a cheat code.
He's been around.
He's been around. You could use him. I think you could use him for Rams Giants as well. Well, I can't. You can, I guess, if you wanted to now, but potentially. Okay, is it to me now?
Yep.
Well, since I just mentioned Rams Giants, I guess that's where I'll go next. We could go. This is how crazy I am. I was like, I could go Matthew Stafford, but that trade never went through. So we cannot go Matthew Stafford. We could go Kurt Warner, but it's probably not going to do that. I will go with a Saints legend here. Wait, what is the Saints legend? Maybe not. Ashawn Robinson. That is 0.8%. Did he? No, he didn't play for the Saints. I don't think he did. He played for Carolina. But yeah, Ashawn Robinson, defensive tackle.
All right, I'm going to use Ray Armstrong here then. 0.1%.
There you go.
What was yours?
0.8.
Another good pick there would have been probably would have been too many points, but there's also Jason Sehorn.
Yeah. The first coming of Cooper DeJean.
Yep. All right, it's to me now, right?
The point is to you, sir. Yes.
All right, we're gonna go Titans. Only one team.
All right.
And we are going to go with Mr. Mettenberger.
Oh, man.
0.4%.
You talk about a name from the past. Whew. Zach Mettenberger. Okay. I will. Excuse me. I will see your Mettenberger. I almost want to concede this one, but let me, because I know there is a Longhorn legend I could use for this. There might be more than one, but there's one that comes to mind. We could also use our favorite Will Levis, but
which Longhorn legend are you talking?
I'm talking about Tavondre Sweat.
Tavondre Sweat, gotcha.
Hey, okay, so lower than I thought. 0.6%. What was Mettenberger?
0.4.
Okay, so closer. It was at least close. I really thought it was going to be like at least 1% for Devon. All right. Okay, let's. It's my turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's close out that column. Only one team. We'll go with the Giants. Only one team. I feel like there's no. He played for the. I had a name in mind, but he played for the Buccaneers, not the Giants. So we could use our guy, another one of our guys, Tommy Cutlets, but I have a feeling he would garner quite a bit of points. Ooh, you know who we could use? Boy, I hope he work. I don't know if he'll work though. Take a look. I have a feeling he won't work. Oh wow. I was thinking Tyrone Wheatley, but Tyrone Wheatley played for the Raiders as well. So scratch that idea. Tyrone Wheatley, I wanted the Saints to draft so bad that year, and they ended up drafting Mark Fields, which had a nice career at least. But I'm filibustering here because I don't know where to go.
You got somebody. There's got to be somebody, right?
Yeah, there's got to be. We got some names here. I'll go. Yeah, what the hell? I'll go with Theo Johnson, who was a tight end. 0.5%.
Okay. We're Giants one team, right?
Yeah, Giants one team. So I had Theo Johnson. He was a tight end from Purdue or Penn State. They drafted last year.
All right, I'm going to go with the guy that I usually use for this square, and that is David Deal. How do you spell Deal?
Offensive line, right?
Yes. David Deal, 0.1%.
He played for a while too, didn't he?
I think so. Let me see. Let me open his. He played for two-time Super Bowl champ.
Right.
11 years.
About that. Wow, good for him. Shout out to David Deal. All right, so you take the lead now, right?
Yep, I'm going to cut you off here. I'm going to go Browns, Chargers, Fozzie Whitaker. 0.4%.
Waka. Browns, Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Waka. Longhorn legend, right? Fozzie Whitaker?
That is correct. Waka.
Did you ever try to show your kids the Muppet Show, anything like that?
I haven't pulled that one out yet. I should do that. I also really liked Muppet Babies growing up. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, well they brought it back because my kids watched that. My youngest daughter, I remember she was into the latest edition of Muppet Babies that was out a couple of years ago. All right, gonna try Webster Slaughter. Yeah, 2%. That one's to you. So you got what? You're up 2 now.
Yep.
With 3 to go.
And it's your pick here.
My pick. All right, so let's do Giants Chargers. We cannot do Eli Manning or Phillip Rivers. Because they did not play for. They
Correct.
got drafted by those teams.
The draft pick one works.
But not the
not the two teams together.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. I'm going to go with Saints legend here. Norman. He's got hand. Ooh. 0.09%.
Okay.
I might be back in business.
I think you are. I use a kicker here.
All right.
Steve Christie, 0.5%. Square to you, sir.
All right. So, but you're still up 1, right?
I'm still up 1, and it's my call, right?
Your call. Yep.
All right. I'm going to take. Let's go. Top left.
Titans Chargers.
Or in this case, Oilers Chargers.
Oh boy.
Mr. Billy Joe Tolliver.
Another Saints legend.
1%.
Hey, all right.
You got an opening.
I got I'm back, baby.
So you need to win this to stay alive.
All right. I'm going with an Iowa Hawkeye legend. Let's see if it works. Desmond King.
Ooh.
Gee, 4%.
Oh man, that's a lot higher than I expected. I didn't expect it to hit 4.
No.
All
right. So that seals it for you. Let's just get the other. For ceremonial sakes, let's do Titans Rams. Is it me? It's my turn first.
It is you.
Okay, Titans Rams. Kenny Britt also available here.
That's true.
I used him earlier. Fitzmagic available here.
As he is for most squares.
As he is for most. One-time sparring partner with Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He's available here.
You know he had to be the most annoying. Andre Johnson was the quietest, calmest.
Yeah.
You know that guy had to be an absolute punk on the field.
Let's go with a kicker here. Cairo Santos. And he comes out to 0.3%.
Okay.
So my total score is 8.
All right, I'm going to go with a
respectable 8, I should say.
I'm going to take I'm going to take a Saints legend.
Okay.
Also a Giants legend, I would think. Mr. Janoris. Oh. The Jackrabbit.
Oh, Jenkins?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Jackrabbit.
My score is 5. Let's see what it came out to. Ooh, 0.6%.
Janoris Jenkins once had a pick 6 off of the legendary Tom Brady when he was a Buccaneer.
Oh. I didn't realize he played for the Bucs. Who else?
No. When Jenkins was playing for the Saints.
Oh, okay.
Brady was playing for the Bucs.
I was like, I don't remember him playing for the Bucs.
No. So I want to say it was Brady's first game as a Buck in New Orleans. Jenkins had a pick 6 off of him like early in the game. This would have been in the COVID season, I guess, because that would have been Brady's first season. All right, so you win, so you will get the first pick in our next segment here, which we had some weather blow through earlier, and I think it left a chill in the air. Brandon, I think I feel a draft.
I feel a draft.
I feel a draft. Let's change tables.
Get out of here. We have a booth.
Okay, so let me kind of explain what we're going to do here. So with the NFL schedule release next week, as we've mentioned, we're going to look at, well, actually, before we do that, let me pull up something else here. So we're going to look at the 7 international games that the NFL has announced for next season. That is, so they have 3 games in London one at Wembley Stadium, which will be hosted by the Jaguars, and two at Tottenham Stadium. One will be hosted by the Browns, the other will be hosted by the Jets. We have the game in Ireland, which will be hosted by the Steelers, Spain, hosted by the Dolphins, Germany, hosted by the Colts, and Brazil, which I believe that Brazil game will be the Friday, that like they did last year, the day after the opening night game.
Yeah.
This will be hosted this year by the Chargers.
Let's hope the field holds up a little better.
Let's hope. Well, I think it's a different stadium. I don't think they're doing it at the same stadium. I could be wrong.
I don't know if that will. We'll see if that has any actual impact, or if it's just a soccer stadium.
Now, what I want to remind everyone is we did. Oh, did I not write it down? Oh, dang it!
What did you forget, Paul?
When we did, right before the Super Bowl, we
drafted the teams to the opening game
for the opening night, right? For the opening night game, and I don't know if I transferred it. I thought I transferred it to our document here, but it looks like I did not. Shame on me for that. So, because we did it before the Super Bowl, we drafted 2 for the Chiefs, 2 for the Eagles, and then after the Super Bowl, we took the 2 for the Chiefs, threw them out, and drafted 2 more for the Eagles. I was gonna rephrase. I don't know if you have a second, if you can look that up, but basically, we're gonna go through all 7 games. So the way this will work for this draft, whoever's turn it is, will pick a city. They will draft a game for that city. And then the other person will draft a different game for that city. And then we'll just rotate through. Do you want to do snake fashion? I got to guess it matters for this.
Yeah. Let's just do snake to keep it consistent.
Do snake. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you will go first. You will pick a city, or in the case of London, pick whichever team in London you want to look at. I'm just going to throw this out there for me. This might just to kind of give away my strategy. I'm going to probably refrain from division opponents. I just don't see them doing.
I think you're right. I think that they're probably gonna make it a non-division game.
And the other thing I'll point out, there are a couple of teams like the Steelers, for example, who are going to host an international game. So the Steelers are hosting one in Ireland, but the Steelers are also on the home schedule they're on the home schedule for the Browns because they're a division rival.
Right.
But they're also on the home schedule for, I want to say, the Jets. Yeah, the Jets. So all that to say is I doubt that the Steelers are also on the home schedule for the Chargers. So I doubt that the NFL is going to make the Steelers go to London to host a game and then also go to Brazil to play
Right.
the Chargers. So just throwing that out there. But so where do you want to start, Brandon?
All right, let's get the international diplomat, I would say, team off the board quickly. We'll take the Jaguars.
Okay.
And I'm going to take Jaguars. Are we doing this for quality of game, or what do we think this NFL will schedule?
However you feel.
Okay, I'm going to try to pick the games that I think the NFL will schedule. So I'm going to take Jaguars hosting the other cat team, the Panthers.
Well, both expansion teams came in the same year, 1995 or 96. So that would make sense. And for what it's worth, both of those teams. Now, here's the thing you got to remember, though. The Jaguars are going to London, right? The Jaguars are hosting their own international game in London. So I don't. Oh no, yeah, this is never mind. For some reason, I thought you were saying the Panthers were hosting the Jaguars.
No. Jaguars hosting the Panthers at Wembley.
My apologies. Sorry, I'm also trying feverishly to find that draft we did. I guess I guess it's lost to history.
It's
Uh,
I think it's
out
episode
there.
118 is when we had it.
Okay. We'll review it after we get this done.
Yeah.
All right, so we're doing Jaguars in Wembley. So they obviously have their division opponents. You just picked the Panthers. Their other choices are Chiefs, Chargers, Rams, Seahawks, and Jets. So the Jets are hosting a game in London also, so that probably eliminates them. This might be off the wall. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. So hear me out here. Jaguars obviously just drafted Travis Hunter. Could be an improved team. And, obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Like that's going to be box office anyway.
They could be improved. It'd be harder for them to be much worse.
Fair enough. But if you get this game early in the season, like let's say Jacksonville kind of gets off to now obviously this is dependent on a lot of things, but let's say Jacksonville gets off to a hot start and you get that Chiefs game in London, this could actually end up being a somewhat intriguing game. Chargers, I don't think they would do Chargers because Chargers are hosting the Brazil game, so that eliminates them. I guess Rams or Seahawks would be somewhat intriguing as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm gonna go Jaguars, Chiefs in London for that. Okay, so you went Panthers and I went Chiefs for that one. Okay, so it's my turn. I get to pick.
Yep, you're up.
Let's go with the Ireland, the game that's going to be in Dublin.
Oh, top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning. So the Steelers. Their choices are obviously their division rivals, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. They have the Bills, the Dolphins, the Packers, the Vikings, the Colts, and the Seahawks. So the Seahawks are actually on two of these lists. Maybe they might be on another one too. So, so the game that everybody keeps saying is going to be the Ireland game is Steelers Packers. So I'll go with that one. I'll go Steelers Packers.
Yeah, that seemed like the.
Well, I mean, this is the first time they're going to be in Ireland, so you probably want to have two franchises that are maybe somewhat historic. Have some history to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense to me. What about you, Brandon? What you got for your?
Okay, I think that's the best pick. I'm going to take another, just a good team here. I'm going to go ahead and take the. No, I'm going to do a pun here.
Oh, by the way, real quick, I should mention Steelers Packers in Dublin could be the Aaron Rodgers revenge game.
That's true. It could.
So just food for thought. Which I wonder if Rodgers does sign with the Steelers, if that means they won't put this game in Ireland. Because, well, I don't know. It wouldn't be in Green Bay.
I don't think that's going to have any influence. The schedule's made.
Okay.
They can't.
Well, yeah, true.
I mean, they're revealing. True. I don't think Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they're going to whoa, Aaron. We gotta move the schedule around.
It would
now.
Be hilarious if he goes on McAfee's show like Tuesday of next week and says, "Yeah, I'm signing with the Steelers," and then it's like red alert at the NFL office, like, "Wait a minute, we got."
Okay, so I could. Now I'm gonna go. I could take the pun pick here because I think what is it? Jeff Ireland is related to the Dolphins.
He was with the Dolphins.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take the Bills here. Steelers Bills.
Yeah, that could be. Now, again, that feels like the NFL potentially maybe stays away from that game being international because if Rodgers is with Pittsburgh, that becomes more of a marquee game now because But the other game I was thinking, which would be a Super Bowl rematch from years gone by, would be Steelers Seahawks.
Well, Steelers Packers is already a Super Bowl rematch.
That is too. But Steelers Seahawks, that's the Super Bowl from, I believe, 20 years ago. If I'm not.
That was a terrible game.
Yeah, it was. It was. But you know what? Jerome Bettis got a Super Bowl ring, so good for him. Okay, so it's my turn again.
No, because you took the I had the first pick.
Oh no, I did. Yeah, you had first pick. You did the London Jaguars. I did Ireland Steelers.
Yep. So now it's to me.
Okay, so to you. Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to take the. I'm going to go to Brazil.
All right,
and I'm going to take a playoff rematch here. Because I don't think it's not going to be the Eagles, because the Eagles are going to be playing on opening night. So that's
right.
out.
So that's out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you eliminate then you got the three
division
teams. I'm going to go with the. I mean, the Steelers are also playing an international game already. I want to go.
So that's a limit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Chargers Texans in Brazil.
Okay. It's a good pick. That would be a good, like you said, playoff rematch, week 1.
Yep. Just makes sense.
That'd be really great for C.J. Stroud. A bad offensive line and a bad field to play.
Yeah, there we go.
So with what you just said in mind, so you take out the division opponents, you just pick the Texans. I don't think the Colts starting Danny Dimes, all due respect, I don't think that's intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles will be playing opening night. Steelers already have the Dublin game. So it's really down to Vikings or Commanders. And between those two, you'd probably pick the Commanders. So I'll go Chargers Commanders.
I think those are the two.
Although I will say, if it's Chargers Vikings, then it's Harbaugh against his former Michigan quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. I'll stick with Chargers Commanders, but I'll just throw that out there. If you did Chargers Vikings, you at least have the intrigue of Harbaugh versus McCarthy.
If J.J. McCarthy is indeed the starting quarterback.
If he's healthy, yeah, that's true.
Or you could have.
What if Aaron Rodgers goes to Minnesota?
I don't want to know what drugs Aaron Rodgers ends up on in Brazil.
Lord, the ayahuasca flows freely there, I would imagine.
You're taking the Chargers commies, right?
Chargers, yeah.
All right, and you are up to make the pick.
Okay, so we've got 4 left. We got the 2 Londons in Tottenham. We've got Spain and we've got Germany. So
Tottenham, the original team coached by Ted Lasso in the commercial.
There you go. Oh, so I should have mentioned this when we were talking about the Chargers. The Colts don't make sense for that game because the Colts are hosting the Germany game. So so let's go to that one, I guess. Let's go to Germany, Berlin to be specific.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
Yeah, not with Danny Dimes throwing.
He's going to tear down the wall with his passes.
So, all right. So we've got the 3 division rivals: Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals, 49ers, Dolphins, or Falcons. Dolphins are eliminated because they're hosting the Spain game.
Mm-hmm. Jaguars are hosting a Wembley game.
Yeah, and they're division rivals. So, yeah. You know what? Germany, you know what you did. So I'm giving you Colts, Cardinals.
Ooh.
Also, that is a matchup of the 2 Philadelphia assistants, Gannon and Steichen.
Yep.
So if they're both still with their teams by that point in the season, depending on when it is.
All right. You took Cardinals.
Germany, you know what you did.
Ooh. This feels like
I almost think the 49ers would tell the NFL no if they said, "Hey, you got to go to Germany to play the Colts." No, we're not doing that.
Okay, I think I got it narrowed down to two options here. I think Colts, Broncos is kind of intriguing. You got the two horses. You know,
Yeah.
who doesn't love a good horse matchup? Or
Bo Nix against Danny Dimes, yeah. Okay.
Or Colts Falcons. Now the German flag has red, yellow, and black. So that kind of says Falcons to me. You got red and black in there.
There you go.
So I'm gonna take Colts Falcons.
I'll also mention that the Falcons' motto is "Rise Up." So yeah, be careful. Be careful with that. Be careful with that.
Yeah, you don't want to be sending any blitzes while you're over there. They might get the wrong idea. Especially if the Polish show up. What do you mean blitz?
He was moving on her like the stormtroopers into Poland.
All right. I'm going to go. Let's go to Spain here. All right.
Rain Dolphins, in Spain and all that.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the Saints. What? Huh?
Oh, I forgot this was the same. Man, listen. Hey, listen. I wouldn't mind because then I just get my misery done.
Yeah, you
early,
can get it over with out of the. It's like a.
I'll mention too. The Saints did play the Dolphins in London. This is like Jay Cutler playing with the Dolphins.
I think the Cowboys have only had one. The Cowboys have had one, European game. They play in Mexico City, kind of frequently, but the one European game that they played was in London against the Jaguars.
Am I remembering that right? Jay Cutler played for the Dolphins once upon a time.
Yes.
Okay. I just remember Saints Dolphins in London. And I remember Cutler throwing an interception in the red zone.
That sounds like a Jay Cutler move. All right, Dolphins.
Did you pick Saints?
No, I made the rhyme and then I didn't follow through. I don't know here. So Chargers are kind of out.
Yeah, Chargers are out because they're hosting the Brazil game.
Dolphins Bengals might be kind of fun, right?
Well, it should be high scoring at least, right?
Yeah,
you would think.
Okay, let's do that. Let's take Dolphins Bengals. Let's ship Joe Burrow over to Spain.
And I'll follow that up real quick. I won't send the Saints to Spain. I'll send the good team from the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I kind of thought of taking that one too.
Two Florida teams playing in Spain. Why not?
There you go. It's an improvement. It's an improvement.
Didn't Florida? Pardon my ignorance.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they. That's
Florida belonged to Spain at one point, did it not?
Mm-hmm. That's the the conquistadors.
There you go.
Cabeza de Vaca, DeSoto. DeSoto. What'd DeSoto do? He discovered the Mississippi. Oh, yeah. What, they wouldn't have found that anyway. Oh, was it Magellan? Circumnavigated the globe.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, I went first there, so you're up for the next one. We got the two.
All right,
all
so
we got
down,
left is the Tottenham game.
The two Tottenham games. So I'll start with the Browns. I'll do the Browns hosting in Tottenham. Take the Dolphins out because we just talked about them hosting a game. I'm going to go. Well, I'm going to do this. The two teams that until draft night were supposed to pick 1 and 2 in the draft. Go Browns Titans.
Oh, there we go.
Cam Ward. Could be Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. Could be Cam Ward versus Dylan Gabriel, maybe. Could be Cam Ward versus Joe Flacco for all we know.
Could be.
By the way, just to go back to the Justin Tucker situation real quick, did you see the meme somebody posted of like Tucker, Robert Kraft, and Deshaun Watson at a
walk into
a
it.
sauna?
Walk in.
That's trouble. That's not good for business.
Paul, I have some good news. So I was checking. I have money. I have a few bucks on Warriors plus 7.5, and also Warriors money line tonight. Warriors money line at plus 230.
Ooh, that's some sweet
action. All right, you took.
They're up 11 right now.
Yeah,
up
with
11 right now.
46 seconds left, so I think we're good. They're definitely going to cover that 7.5. I know that much.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
You took Browns Titans.
I took Browns Titans. Yeah.
Whew. This is a mess. So we don't think it'll be a divisional matchup. I'm taking the Bills already. The Dolphins have host the game. We think the Packers are playing. I guess I'll go.
We put Packers Steelers, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of the assumption there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Browns. I guess
and we did well. I don't think we picked Vikings against Chargers, but I mentioned that could be a possibility.
All right, we'll go. I'm going to take Browns 49ers here.
All right.
I don't feel great about it.
I believe that would be potentially brought to you by Jeff Garcia.
Yep.
Or Trent Dilfer, too, I think. Some options there. All right, buddy. You have the last one here.
Let's do it. Let's take the
shout out to our boy Chris, the Jets fan from this podcast, Make Me Thirsty.
Yep.
I don't think he'll be making the trip to London for this one, though.
We're going to take the matchup brought to you by Randall Cobb, brought to you by Morris Claiborne. The matchup brought to you by
Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
The Sanchez.
Richie Anderson.
There you go.
We're going to take Jets Cowboys. Close it out.
What about Tyron Smith?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
The recently retired Tyron Smith.
Cowboys.
So
legends.
You're taking Jets Cowboys.
Correct.
So the other options are
Nick Folk's another one.
Oh, Nick Folk, yeah. So the other options are Bills, Dolphins, Patriots. They have the Browns.
Did Terry Lynn play for the Jets?
He played for the Patriots. I don't think he played for the Jets.
Okay, Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, all he did. Yep, Keyshawn Johnson. So the Browns are already hosting a game in London, so they're eliminated. Steelers are hosting a game in Dublin, so they're out.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons, Panthers. We already pegged both of those teams, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, I had the Panthers playing the Jags, and
I
had
the Falcons
playing the Colts. Yep,
going to Germany. You picked the Cowboys. I guess we're just gonna go with the Broncos.
Kind of narrowed it down, didn't we?
Kind of narrowed it down there. Well, I mean,
the Broncos are also an option to play the Colts. So there's that.
That's true. Yeah, you mentioned that.
I actually don't think Jets. I think Jets Broncos isn't a bad pick either.
Well, hopefully this game would be better than the one this past season. That was the game where it was like raining and it was nasty, and I want to say the final score was like 10-9 or something like that. It was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Bo Nix was like 8 of 20 or something crazy. I would say it won't happen, but Jets Steelers would be a Justin Fields revenge game, so they're probably going to have that one. But again, Steelers are already traveling abroad for the Ireland game, so I don't think they're going to make them go to London too. But that would be crazy if we get the schedule next week and it's like, yeah, Steelers have 2 international games. Well, I mean, the Jaguars would have back-to-back London games in the past, so
yeah, but the Jaguars are they're the London
team.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of surprised they didn't do that again this year. I guess they want to give more teams a chance to travel. So both of our teams do have the possibility of traveling abroad. Saints could go to Spain and play the Dolphins, and we just talked about Cowboys could go to London to play the Jets. Again, I don't mind it because that means the game's like 8:00 in the morning here, so you get it over with.
Are you taking the Broncos?
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking the.
I didn't know if you locked that in yet.
Jets Broncos. Would that be Tim Tebow? I don't think Tebow.
I don't know if he actually played for them though. Did he?
I don't think he played for the Jets. No. Saints legend Trevor Siemian, maybe.
We're talking about Jets and Broncos. Ooh.
Jets and Broncos. Garrison Hurst. Did Garrison Hurst play for the Jets?
He played for the Broncos. I don't think he played for the Jets.
Oh no, he had a long touchdown run against the Jets. Is what I'm thinking of.
He played for the
As
Bengals.
a 49er. He did play for the Bengals. Let's see. Broncos, Jets. We got to figure out a good system to keep track of our Immaculate Grids this year. So who we pick is... Okay, so according to Pro Football Reference, Tim Tebow does count.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco counts.
Joe Flacco was making his rounds with teams lately. Bubby Brister.
How about Bubby Brister?
There we go.
How about wide receiver Eric Decker?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Saints legend Quan Alexander.
Brandon Marshall,
yeah. So you said Terry Glenn earlier for Cowboys, Jets, which didn't count. Here's another Patriot legend, Ty Law.
Oh yeah, that's
Jets
right.
Broncos. Yeah.
Okay, I found the season opener draft we did.
Okay, good.
All right, so
let's go through that real quick.
You took Bills Ravens, Eagles Rams,
yeah,
Commies Broncos,
okay,
and Chiefs Commies.
Okay.
I took Bills Chiefs.
All right.
Eagles Bears.
Yep.
Commies Lions. And Chiefs Eagles.
Yeah, so we did that before the championship games where we took each of the championship teams and said, if they were to win the Super Bowl, who do we think that opening game would be? So for the Eagles side, I have Eagles Rams, you have Eagles Bears.
And Eagles Chiefs. Because I took Chiefs.
Well, no, but that would be in Kansas City though. That Chiefs Eagles.
Oh, I get the I'm taking credit for picking the matchup.
Oh. Could you imagine? That would be so NFL. Okay, congratulations, Eagles. You won the Super Bowl. You get to play on opening night, but it has to be in Kansas City. Oh man, I'm sure people would react completely normal to that news. Sure nobody would have a problem with that. Didn't we do a redraft though?
No, we marked off the ones that we had that were incorrect. Okay. And then we started drafting 2025 Super Bowl picks too early.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the one where we had to pick somebody in the top 10 of the draft.
Playoff team, top 10, non-playoff, and divisional.
Right. That's right. Which I think I had the Bears as my top 10.
Yep. I had the Patriots.
Yeah, sorry to Andy, the Bears fan, for potentially, most likely jinxing the Bears. And I continue to jinx them to this day.
Just keep going, Paul.
Just keep going.
Oh man, I've had a great gambling night tonight, Paul. I'm on a heater of including the Kentucky Derby. I'm on a roll here.
You got to let it ride.
Yep.
What does Newman think about this news?
You've had it under control for the. What?
Do we have that drop?
Oh, it's got to be in here. I think so. Oh no.
Oh, did we get rid of it?
No. Yeah, it's not on the board anymore. Which you know what I think of that?
Well, it sucks.
Well, thanks, Frank. At least Frank was helping us out here.
That's a shame.
Oh no, you're gambling again. Who was the Newman that you sent me? The Newman player you sent me over the weekend.
That was a draft. One of the drafted players.
Yeah, it was like Eric Newman from Michigan State or something like that.
We mentioned it on the last show because they had whoever it was.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because.
By the way, if Terrence Newman ever made the Hall of Fame, that would be a legendary. I think he's ineligible now. Is he off the ballot now? I don't know.
I don't know that he was ever on the ballot. Sadly,
we can when we get closer to the Hall of Fame. Oh, by the way, I guess we should mention. I don't know if we mentioned on the show. They did announce the Hall of Fame game. I believe will be played between the Chargers and the Lions. Yeah, I know it's the Chargers because Antonio.
Yeah,
Gates
it was. I remember the Lions part of it. So,
because I was trying to remember like who's going in the Hall of Fame. That's how I usually that's how I remember the teams because usually they try to pick at least one team
that has somebody going in.
That has somebody going in, and the Chargers have Antonio Gates. Hey, you know he played basketball?
I've never heard that mentioned 100,000 times.
I wonder if they're going to mention that at the Hall of Fame.
He should bring it up in his speech. A lot of you may not have known, but I played basketball.
And listen, and he plays it totally straight.
If he does that, hold on. I need to get in touch with his people.
There you go,
Mr. Gates.
Oh, I'm sure they'll take your call. I'm sure they'll.
You don't know me, Mr. Gates, but I have a line for your Hall of Fame speech.
I'm sure they're absolutely waiting to hear from you. Okay, so I think that does it. Do we want to recap this draft real quick? I guess I'll do my picks first.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Wembley game in London, I have Jaguars Chiefs. For the game in Ireland, I have Steelers Packers. Brazil, I have Chargers Commanders. Germany, Colts Cardinals, because Germany knows what it did. In Spain, Dolphins and Buccaneers. In London at Tottenham, I have Browns Titans. And in the second Tottenham game, I have Jets Broncos. What about you, Brandon?
All right. I've got at Wembley, Jags Panthers in the Cat matchup. Steelers Bills in Ireland. Chargers Texans in Brazil. Colts Falcons in Germany. We get to watch. We're gonna send our Penix over there.
Oh, whoa, okay. Hold on.
Dolphins Bengals in España. Browns Niners at Tottenham, and then the other Tottenham game, Jets Cowboys. I think we did a pretty good job.
I feel so. Of these 14 matchups that we picked, I feel like at least one of them's gonna get.
Yeah, we should. We'll reconvene next week to see how we did.
Yeah, once we and I have a feeling this happens every year with the schedule release. Usually, the international games are like leaked out Monday or Tuesday before the schedule release.
Right.
I mean, that Steelers Packers one, that's been like.
Oh, if it's not Steelers Packers at this point,
yeah.
What happened?
Again, the only thing I could see is if the NFL was like, well, if Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh, do we really want to have that game be in Ireland? Which it would be in Pittsburgh. That's the only other option is to be in Pittsburgh. So
right.
I could see if it was like gonna be in Lambeau and they're gonna take it out of Lambeau for Ireland, but no, I don't. To your point, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think they're gonna let that Rodgers piece of it potentially. And who knows? Maybe if Rodgers doesn't sign with the Steelers and Jordan Love gets injured, then we have Will Howard against Malik Willis.
There we go. The matchup everybody wanted, and then we'll move the game to Germany.
Congratulations, Ireland! You get Colts Cardinals,
which is somehow an improvement.
Which is somehow an improvement. All right, I think that we got anything else to talk about this week? We've
Nope. I'll try to. I'll keep you updated on my basketball betting hot streak over here. I'll send you the account that I've been following for my bet picks.
Yes, please do. Although I did turn out pretty well with my draft.
See that the basketball and the and the horse betting is winning me back all the money I lost on the draft.
So I had the Kelvin Banks 9th overall pick. That was plus 700. I felt really good about that one. Of course, I hedged that with Saints first pick as being a defensive line edge. So obviously that didn't pan out. Steelers to draft Shedeur Sanders. That didn't work. Jackson Dart, second quarterback taken. That was plus 199. Got that. So. And then March Madness, I had the Florida Gators winning. Got that at plus 295. So, I guess we mentioned that, since we are gambling degenerates, let's just close out with this. We were talking about this before we turned the mics on. If I could type, that would be helpful. Do you want to know who has the best odds to be drawn as a top 3 pick in the NBA draft lottery?
Washington.
Yep, Washington and Washington, Jazz, and Hornets all have the same odds.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not the Blazers.
Plus 135 is those odds. The Pelicans are at plus 150. I know a lot of Pelicans fans are hoping to plant their Cooper flag, as it were.
Waving the white flag.
Time. Wave the white flag. Yeah, there you go. I thought they had NBA Finals. Okay, here you go. Western Conference winner, as of right now, you can get the Warriors at plus 550.
Ooh.
And for the Eastern Conference winner, you can get the Knicks at plus 750.
That's a little
You can get the Pacers at plus 460 to win the East.
I have a hard time buying anybody other than
Boston. For the NBA winner, for the overall NBA champion, you can get the Warriors at 15-1.
That's not bad. Let's see.
You can get the Timberwolves. You can also get the Timberwolves at 15-1. But
what's the
longest odds are the Knicks at 30-1. I don't know, man. 30-1 for the Knicks. Why not? like some sweet action.
that is some sweet action over there.
That's Kramer definitely would put some money down on that one.
With Jerry, it's a lock.
Do you remember the episode where Kramer gets Jerry to bet on the Knicks Pacers game, and then Kramer goes to the game and gets Reggie Miller kicked out?
Yeah,
because he gets in a fight with him.
Yes, I do remember that one.
I think that's the Susie episode, because that's the one where Mike Moffitt.
He's the bookie.
He's the bookie.
Yeah,
and Jerry breaks his thumbs. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
All right. Well, tune in next week for more degenerate tips from. And also we'll talk about the NFL schedule again. We hope to have a live reaction. We may not do it
during
along.
Yeah, it'll depend.
It'll be probably during this release program, but we won't be following along with the release program, if that makes sense. Because I would imagine at some point the whole thing's just going to be out there, and we're just going to
It's gonna be out
It's
there.
out there,
and
Jared.
loving every minute of it.
Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll maybe talk about maybe we could look at those Vegas odds on over-unders. Maybe have some fun with that.
That's a good idea.
And we'll see where we are with the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs, and we'll see what movies I can watch this week. And TV. I'll probably have finished Justified season 1 by next week. Hopefully.
Oh, there we go.
Have a
maybe I'll
report.
Maybe I'll watch some of that too.
Yes, so we can discuss.
Yes.
But until then, folks, happy football.
Happy football. Happy gambling.
Happy gambling. Yeah.